We are only 5 days away from another historic moment, and that is the presidential election. Hillary Clinton campaigns in North Carolina today with Bernie Sanders, and later attends a fundraiser hosted by Cher. Donald Trump is focused on North Carolina, Pennsylvania, and Florida. And other big names are hitting the trail to rally support for their candidates. Senator Ted Cruz, Melania Trump, all slated to speak at Trump rallies. Clinton aide Huma Abedin will also attend a D.C. fundraiser for the Democratic candidate. And yesterday, President Obama rallied supporters for Hillary. He didn't have any kind words for the GOP nominee, that's for sure.
I ran against John McCain. I ran against Mitt Romney. I thought I'd be a better president. But I never thought that the Republic was at risk if they were elected. We have to stop thinking that his behavior is normal. Republicans who, they know he's not qualified, but they say, well, you know what, character doesn't matter. And if in the middle of a game, you're spending all your time arguing with the refs, then you're a loser.
Joining us right now is pollster and former senior advisor for Mitt Romney and Scott Walker's presidential campaigns. Ed Goes is with us. Ed, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Thank you so much for joining us. So do you think both camps feel this sense of urgency now to rev up the base?
Well, certainly that's the whole campaign. I mean, one of the things with all the changing numbers, and it has closed dramatically in terms of the campaign, what hasn't changed is the high negatives for both these candidates. And so they are going to their base. They're driving it hard. One of the things, as we've seen a closing in the polls, is it's not so much Hillary coming down as those voters that are voting for the independent candidates or have moved over, closing the race.
I thought it was extraordinary even to look at the Electoral College, though. Donald Trump is right there.
He is, and certainly if you look at, we're in the field right now in Pennsylvania, in North Carolina, and Ohio, and Florida, and Nevada. All of those are showing it closing within range. Certainly, when you look at the Electoral College map, you do have the problem of he has to run the table on all of that. The race to watch is Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is the one state that does not have early voting. So where North Carolina has voted 30%, Florida has voted 25% of their voters, they still have 100% of the voters out there for Pennsylvania, and those are really the numbers to watch.
18 months into this election season, Ed, is this coming down to what emails get leaked or what comes out over the last 5 days? Is this really what's going to swing the election?
No, it's not going to. Again, the negatives are so high on both these candidates, and that's not coming down for either one of them. Through all of this. I think the more important thing that I've seen in the last week, and you've already shown some of the clips of Trump saying keep calm, is that he has been different. In the last week. And one of the things that has always been kind of driving the numbers is that her negatives are driven by the politics of her past. His is driven by his persona. And so when he is trying to drive the message, then it's like a boxer with a glass jaw leading with his chin. What has happened in the last week is the FBI has been driving the message, allowing him to sit back, and he benefits from that.
I mean, I wonder, will he be able to not say anything inflammatory? 5 days. 5 days is a long time.
What everyone's watching.
Well, how much does it influence what these Hillary Clinton surrogates say on the campaign trail in interviews? We saw President Obama, who yesterday actually brought up the Klan in reference to Donald Trump. And then also you have President Obama talking not by name but about Jim Comey yesterday, saying, I do think there is a norm that when there are investigations, we don't operate on innuendo and we don't operate on incomplete information, we don't operate on leaks. So he's increasingly trying to kind of tamp down the furor over what's happening with the FBI.
Certainly, and there's been lots of speculation on whether he came out and said what he did last Friday because of a mutiny inside the FBI, that he had to come out
and that's the story today in the Journal. Secret recordings fueled FBI feud and Clinton probe. It is clear that the Justice Department was trying to stop the FBI from investigating the Clinton Foundation.
Well, and I think they're trying to do the right thing. I mean, again, the FBI is. They have lots of rules in terms of what they can say, especially as you get closer to the election. But again, I think all of this is playing to the base, if you will. It's not changing, again, the negatives for either of these two candidates. But what you've had, and this is the good news for the Republicans down ballot, is that we had always seen a lot of those voters that were voting for the third-party candidates that didn't like either one of these two candidates, as they have folded in the fear of them not voting has actually decreased. And that's where we're seeing the picture today on keeping control of Congress is much better today for Republicans than it was 2 weeks ago.
But part of that is that something has changed. I mean, the public has gotten more information on this pay-to-play allegation. They are ramping up against Hillary Clinton. FBI agents from the White Collar Crime Division made the Clinton Foundation a very high-priority investigation. According to sources, Brett Baer reporting that last night, as Dagen just told us, agents are looking into pay-to-play ties between the foundation and when Clinton was Secretary of State, interviewing people connected, multiple people connected to the case. Trump is seizing on the opportunity to talk about these allegations. Listen to what he said yesterday.
Crooked Hillary Clinton. You know, that term is really stuck. Everyone's calling it. Has anyone seen crooked Hillary Clinton today? That's going to be a great term for a president, right?
When there are investigations, we don't operate on innuendo. We don't operate on incomplete information. We don't operate on leaks.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, is it innuendo? We know that there are 650,000 emails, some of which were from the State Department, on Anthony Weiner's laptop. It's not innuendo.
But again, going back to the point I was making, we're in the field in 5 of these battleground states, and we're asking a question about the FBI and the impact. I've not seen one of the states with more than 43% saying that this is important to them, and it's all the base. So these negatives are baked in. It certainly is reinforcing the base, but it certainly isn't moving the numbers just on that. And that's good news for Trump.
One other thing I wanted to point out in Brett Baer's reporting, those laptops that were handed over by Clinton top aides Cheryl Mills and Heather Samuelson as a result of those limited immunity deals, well, the deal was that those laptops would be destroyed. They have not been destroyed. They are in Washington in the FBI field office in D.C. So, again, you're looking at potentially, Hillary Clinton gets elected next week. You have a presidential the next president of the United States who is under FBI investigation.
She can pardon herself,
4 months.
right? She really can legally pardon herself.
That's very important to the Trump voters. That is not important to the Hillary voters. And again,
They've already known she's been involved in all these scandals, and I think they decided it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but let's think about the implications here. Was there the word indictment used?
No,
The FBI apparently, according to sources, said there could be an indictment. They didn't say to whom, but when I heard that word, I thought to myself, wow.
Right.
If something happens down the road, should Hillary Clinton become president, does that mean Tim Kaine gets in?
well,
I think it does, yeah.
But the people didn't choose Tim Kaine. She chose Tim Kaine.
Right.
So I'm just, that word indictment, I think, wow, I couldn't believe that word was used.
And that's why I keep coming back to the negatives for both these candidates are not moving down or moving up. What has happened over the last year is this strongly unfavorable has increased to a point that it's at 50% for both these candidates. So a lot of this is kind of noise if they've taken a side. I think the more important thing is that we have a historic high number of voters, about 20%, that dislike both of these candidates.
Yeah.
And so you're talking about which one do you dislike more. That's the factor that comes into play here, as opposed to all of a sudden being positive towards one and negative towards another.
Yeah, it's a great point. It's true. Ed, good to see you.
Thanks.
Thank you so
Good
much,
seeing you.
Ed Goes. Stay tuned to Fox Business Network for special all-day coverage on Election Day, Tuesday, November 8th, and for our post-Election Day coverage right here on Mornings with Maria.